The world, it never stops moving. And sometimes it feels like it's falling apart. Panic in the streets, emotions running wild. One bad headline and suddenly everyone is spiraling, running in fear, reacting without thinking. It's chaos. But in the middle of it all, there's someone different. He's not yelling. He's not pacing. He's not frozen in fear. He's just calm. While the world panics, he watches. While others scream, he breathes. While they react, he plans. This is the Sigma male, the lone wolf, the man outside the hierarchy, the one who never follows the crowd because he was never part of it. But why? What gives him that unshakable calm? Why does he stay level-headed when others break down? Today we're breaking it all down. You're about to see exactly why Sigma males stay calm when everyone else panics. Let's start with the basics. Sigma males aren't born calm. They're built that way. They've learned, over time, to train their minds like warriors train their bodies. They've conditioned themselves to not be ruled by emotion, but by reason. You see, most people run on autopilot, react first, think later. They get triggered by fear, by pressure, by uncertainty. They look to others for direction, for validation, for safety. But Sigma males, they rely on themselves. That's the first reason they stay calm: independence. Sigma males don't wait for someone to tell them what to do. They don't panic because others are panicking. They don't ask, what's everyone else doing? Instead, they ask, what makes the most sense right now? That shift in mindset makes all the difference. Because when the world goes into crisis mode, followers freeze, leaders act, and lone wolves, they observe, they analyze, they stay in control. Sigma males are highly introspective. They think deeply. They question everything. That means they've already played out worst-case scenarios before the chaos hits. They're not shocked when things go wrong because they expected it. They've prepared mentally for the storm. So when it arrives, they don't panic. They execute. That's reason number 2, mental preparation. While others are surprised, scrambling and shouting, the Sigma male is 10 steps ahead because he's already rehearsed this moment in his mind. Not because he's paranoid, but because he's practical. This is the man who doesn't wait until the fire starts to look for an exit. He's already mapped out the escape route. He's already calculated the risks. So when the pressure hits, he doesn't say, oh no, he says, let's go. But there's something deeper, something that truly separates Sigma males from the rest: discipline. Most people live at the mercy of their feelings. Tired, they quit. Scared, they freeze. Stressed, they explode. But Sigma males, they've trained themselves to act despite their emotions, waking up early, pushing through discomfort, doing the hard things, especially when no one's watching. That's not motivation, that's self-discipline. It's the foundation of calm. Because when you've already done the work, when you've suffered in silence, when you've built habits that hold steady under pressure, you don't panic, you perform. That's the third reason Sigma males stay calm. They're built to handle pressure. They don't fall apart under stress because they've lived in it. They've practiced calmness in everyday life, so when the storm hits, it's just another day. Now let's talk about noise. We live in a world full of noise. Social media, news cycles, opinions flying left and right. Everyone wants to be heard, and almost no one wants to think. But Sigma males, they detach. They don't feed off noise. They don't chase trends. They don't get sucked into the emotional roller coaster of the masses. Why? Because they've trained themselves to disconnect, not from reality, but from hysteria. When the world screams panic, the Sigma male turns down the volume. He creates space to think, space to breathe, space to act with clarity. That's not avoidance, that's strategy. Because clarity isn't found in chaos, it's found in stillness. And Sigma males protect that stillness like a warrior protects his blade. This is the fourth reason Sigma males stay calm. They embrace solitude. Most people fear being alone. They see silence as emptiness. They need constant connection, validation, and distraction. But Sigma males, they thrive in solitude because that's where they recharge. That's where they listen to their own thoughts. That's where they build resilience. It's in solitude that they find control. Not control over the world, but control over themselves. So when the crowd panics, when the noise gets loud, the Sigma already knows what to do because he learned it in silence. Solitude is his teacher. Stillness is his power. You see, calm isn't something you turn on in a crisis. It's something you build before the crisis ever comes. It's a muscle. And Sigma males train it every day. They meditate, they journal, they breathe deeply when others hold their breath. They focus on what they can control and let go of the rest. That's the fifth key to their calm. Focus on control. You can't stop a storm from coming, but you can choose how you face it. You can't change the world in a single moment, but you can change your response. Sigma males understand this deeply. They don't waste energy on things outside their control. They focus on the one thing they can always command, themselves. And that's where the power lies. When things fall apart, people look for a leader, but not the loudest voice, not the biggest ego. They look for the calmest presence, and more often than not, that's the Sigma. He doesn't ask for attention, he doesn't shout commands, but his calmness speaks louder than any voice in the room. It says, "We're not defeated." It says, "There's a way forward." It says, "Follow me, not because I say so, but because I'm ready." That's the quiet power of the Sigma male, not in dominance, but in influence. He doesn't lead with fear, he leads with focus. But don't think for a second that calmness means life has been easy. Sigma males have been through it. They've faced betrayal, they've faced failure, they've faced rejection. But instead of becoming bitter, they became better. Instead of breaking down, they broke through. Pain taught them patience, loss taught them perspective, hardship taught them discipline, and through it all, they stayed calm. Because life had already thrown its worst, and they were still standing. So the next time you see a Sigma male standing quietly in the storm, understand this: he's not avoiding the fight. He's just not wasting energy on the wrong battle. He's not scared, he's strategic, he's not cold, he's controlled. Because real strength isn't loud, it doesn't need to prove itself. Real strength is calm in the chaos, still in the storm, and focused, even in fire. That's why Sigma males stay calm when everyone else panics. Let's go deeper. To understand why Sigma males remain calm when the world falls apart, you need to understand how they were shaped. This mindset didn't happen overnight. Most Sigma males started life on the outside. They weren't the center of attention. They weren't the loudest in the room. They weren't chasing popularity or begging for approval. They were the quiet observers, the thinkers, the ones who watched silently while others chased chaos. And from an early age, they learned something powerful. You don't need to control the world to control yourself. That simple truth became their anchor. It became the reason why, in moments of pressure, they don't collapse, they focus. Rejection didn't destroy them, it sharpened them. Being alone didn't weaken them, it strengthened them. In fact, it trained them for the very moments that break most people. So when the pressure builds, when others are yelling, panicking, collapsing under fear, the Sigma doesn't need a script. He's lived it before. He's built for this. That's why he doesn't follow the herd. He knows where that path leads. Most people only know how to move with the crowd, and when the crowd loses it, so do they. But the Sigma, he's not in the crowd. He walks his own path, he makes his own moves, he trusts his own mind. That's the sixth reason Sigma males stay calm. They don't outsource their decisions. They don't need to be told what to think. They don't rely on popular opinion. They aren't swayed by emotion, fear, or external pressure. They lead themselves. This comes down to one thing: self-awareness. Sigma males are brutally honest with themselves. They know their strengths. They know their weaknesses. They don't pretend to be perfect, and they don't need to. That self-awareness is powerful because it removes fear. Think about it. Why do people panic? Because they feel powerless, because they're not prepared, because they don't trust themselves. Sigma males do trust themselves because they've done the work. They've sat with their thoughts. They've questioned their beliefs. They've faced the parts of themselves most people avoid. And through that inner work, they've built a calm that doesn't shake easily. Let's talk about failure. Most people fear failure like it's the end of the world. They attach their identity to success, and when things go wrong, they panic. But Sigma males have a different relationship with failure. They see it as fuel, information, a tool for growth. They've failed before, they've hit rock bottom, they've had plans fall apart, just like everyone else. But instead of panicking, they ask, what can I learn? How do I grow stronger from this? That's the seventh key to their calm. They don't fear failure. They understand it's part of the journey. They don't run from it. They lean into it with eyes wide open. Because when failure doesn't scare you, nothing does. Now let's talk about another reason Sigma males don't panic. They're not addicted to instant results. In a fast-paced world, most people want quick answers, quick fixes, instant gratification. And when they don't get it, they break down. But Sigma males are patient. They understand that real growth takes time. That clarity doesn't always come in seconds. That calm isn't rushed, it's earned. This patience creates power because it allows them to think before acting, to respond, not react, to wait for the right moment instead of forcing things to happen. So when the pressure rises, they're not desperate to do something. They're focused on doing the right thing. You see, most people confuse movement with progress, but Sigma males know better. Sometimes the best move is to wait. Sometimes the smartest action is no action yet. This is the eighth reason Sigma males stay calm. They don't let urgency control them. They move when it makes sense, not when fear says go, and that makes all the difference. Here's something else most people overlook. Sigma males don't need to prove anything. They don't chase validation. They don't argue just to win. They don't panic to look like they're doing something because they're not performing for anyone. Their calmness isn't about appearances. It's who they really are. This inner confidence, this self-reliance, this lack of need for external approval, it creates unshakable peace. It's the ninth reason they stay calm. They aren't pretending. When your calm is real, it can't be broken by fake fear. And here's something powerful. That calm spreads. In every chaotic room, there's always one person who brings the temperature down. One person whose presence makes everyone else breathe easier. More often than not, that's the Sigma. Not because he wants attention, not because he wants to be the hero, but because his presence is rooted in truth. People sense that. They feel the strength behind the silence, the clarity behind the calm. It's not just stillness, it's leadership, not the loud kind, the real kind. In the moments that test character, it's not the loudest person people follow. It's the one who keeps his head. That's the quiet impact of Sigma males. They don't just survive the storm, they guide others through it. Now let's talk about the hidden strength behind their calm: simplicity. Most people live overwhelmed lives. Too many decisions, too much stimulation, too many voices in their head. And when things go wrong, all that clutter becomes a trap. But Sigma males simplify. Their routines are clean, their priorities are clear, their space reflects their mind, focused, sharp, intentional. That simplicity gives them a huge advantage when chaos strikes, because there's no confusion, no mental fog, no wasted energy, just clarity and action. That's the 10th reason Sigma males stay calm. Their lives are built for calm. They don't just act calm, they live calm. So when pressure shows up, they don't have to shift gears. They're already there. So let's recap. Why do Sigma males stay calm when everyone else panics? Because they've trained for it. They've lived through it. They've studied themselves. They've mastered solitude. They've embraced discipline. They've rejected noise. They've faced fear. They've simplified their lives. They've stopped pretending. They've let go of things they can't control. And they've chosen to build a life that's strong at the core. They're not lucky. They're intentional. They don't avoid pressure. They prepare for it. And that preparation is what creates calm. Not a fake calm, not a surface-level smile, but real, deep, grounded peace. Let's imagine this. There's a storm outside. Wind howling, lightning flashing, people running, doors slamming. But one man stands still. He's not afraid. He's not hiding. He's simply observing. Not because he's careless, but because he knows something others don't. Fear is loud, but wisdom is quiet. This is the final piece of the Sigma male puzzle, the thing that completes the picture, the reason his calm goes deeper than most people can even understand. Sigma males don't just survive chaos, they see through it. While others react to the noise, Sigma males search for the truth. We live in a world addicted to emotion. Drama sells, fear spreads. Everyone wants to be outraged because it makes them feel like they're doing something. But Sigma males refuse to be manipulated by emotion. They're not cold, they're conscious. They're not unfeeling, they're focused. They don't let the media tell them what to fear. They don't let the crowd tell them what to think. They don't let panic control their mind. Because they've learned the ultimate discipline: emotional independence. That's the 11th reason Sigma males stay calm. They don't borrow other people's emotions. Just because everyone else is anxious doesn't mean they have to be. Just because the world is spiraling doesn't mean they should spin with it. They own their inner world, they guard it, and they protect it like it's sacred, because it is. And here's the truth. In silence, you see things clearly. In calmness, you find the real answers. In stillness, you become powerful. That's why Sigma males aren't in a rush. They're not chasing the next thing. They're not addicted to the noise. They're tuned into something else: wisdom. And wisdom doesn't panic. Sigma males are modern-day Stoics. They may not quote the words of Marcus Aurelius or Seneca, but they live the principles. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Stay present. Stay focused. Stay ready. These aren't just quotes, they're codes. Sigma males live by their own code, and that code isn't shaken by trends, panic, or pressure. It's built on values, discipline, character. And that's what makes their calm so rare, because it's real. Let's be clear, Sigma males aren't passive. They don't sit back and let the world burn. They take action, but it's precise. They lead, but it's quiet. They help, but never for recognition. They step in when others fall apart. They make moves while others freeze, and they do it all without needing to be seen. Because the Sigma's calm doesn't just benefit him, it lifts others. It stabilizes the room. It creates order where there is none. That's the 12th reason Sigma males stay calm. because someone has to. When chaos breaks out, people follow emotion, but emotion doesn't lead, it reacts. So someone has to be the rock, the steady hand, the voice that says, "We're going to be okay." And often that's the Sigma. But here's what's fascinating. Once the chaos ends, once the storm passes, once people are back on their feet, the Sigma doesn't stick around to take credit. He doesn't stand there waiting for a thank you. He doesn't need applause. He quietly disappears back into the shadows, back into solitude. Why? Because his mission was never to impress, it was to impact. And once that's done, he moves on. That's the 13th reason Sigma males stay calm. They're not attached to the outcome. They do what needs to be done, then let go. That's why you never see them desperate, never see them begging, never see them chasing. They move like ghosts, silent, focused, complete. So now you know. You've seen what makes them different. You've seen what gives them their edge. You've seen what makes them calm when the world panics. It's not arrogance. It's not luck. It's not some magic formula. It's work, inner work, hard work, unseen work. It's pain turned into strength. It's silence turned into clarity. It's pressure turned into power. Sigma males aren't made in easy times. They're forged in fire. And because of that, they don't fear the fire. They become it. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of chaos, remember this. You don't need to react like everyone else. You don't need to panic just because the world says you should. You don't need to lose yourself when things fall apart. You can choose calm. You can choose discipline. You can choose your own mind over the crowd. You can choose the Sigma path, the path of the lone wolf, the still one, the silent one, the unshaken one. Not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. Because calm isn't weakness, it's mastery. This is the way of the Sigma male. Not louder, not faster, not desperate, just calm, always calm. Because when the world panics, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't run, he doesn't follow. He stands, he leads, and he walks alone into the storm.